Hi, and welcome to another episode of Utah Crossbow Forum, where today is Crossbow Forum Monday. So, before we get into that, I think, what's an interesting question. Before we do that, though, remember, hit that subscribe button down below. It's free. It's totally free. Just hit that subscribe button. Ring that bell right next to it. It's also free. Go ahead. And then go back up here and hit the subscribe button, or I should say, the share button. Leave me a comment and hit that thumbs up. Go and do all that right now. Okay, go ahead. Thank you very much for doing that. So, like I said, today's question is a pretty good one. So, let's jump right over here. Okay, this I believe is on the Crossbow Fantastics. Okay, it says, I am new to crossbows. I bought an old 10-point crossbow from someone, but the scope is not on it, and I'm having issues trying to figure out how to mount one. Okay, so kind of a vague question, I think. I bought an old 10-point crossbow. Okay, what kind of crossbow? So that which leads us into today's question we're going to talk about. I just bought a used crossbow. Okay, and if you did, welcome to the crossbow world. Glad to have you. Okay, so I just bought a new crossbow. So, our used crossbow. For you, it's a new crossbow. Whether it's your first, second, who cares? So, the questions we need to ask. Okay, one of the questions is, here are some things you might do before you shoot it. Okay? Some things you might want to do before you shoot it. Okay? You might want to take it to your local crossbow shop. That might not be a bad idea. Okay? So, why would you want to take it to your local crossbow shop? Check your timing. Yeah, make sure your timing is good on your crossbow. And one thing I did forget to put on here, checking the limbs. Making sure your limbs are good. So timing and limbs to be checked. Check your strings. Make sure they're good and ready to go. And if necessary, replace your strings. Okay? Might be necessary to do that. Find out from that what kind of knock you're using for that crossbow. Because remember, there's the alpha knock and there's the regular knock. Okay? There's actually three types. And then there's a flat knock. So if you're using a 10-point, 10 points, they say you can use the alpha knock with pretty much any of their crossbows. Okay? So that's something to take into consideration. Also, what's the speed of your crossbow? What's the speed supposed to be? Normally they're right on the limb somewhere, or somewhere on the crossbow. You'll find the speed of your crossbow. And the draw weight. What's the draw weight? Is it 150, 175, 200? What kind of draw weight? Okay, so you want to look at that. Okay. Let's get rid of all those. Okay. The next thing you want to look at is scopes. That's what that question was asking. What kind of scope do you want on your crossbow? Because remember, there's a variety of different scopes. Okay. You have the speed dial scope. Okay, so let's go over here. Let's just back up just a tad here. So you got all these types of crossbows. There's an older crossbow, you may not be on here, but you can always get that information from 10 point. So let's go to accessories over here. I think it's on page 2. We're just using this side here. Okay, so you have this one here, which is a very expensive scope, but it's also a speed dial. You got this one here. It's a speed dial, I think. But you got different varieties of scopes. What kind of scope do you want? A speed dial scope or a non-speed dial scope? That's your choice. I should have bring out my extra ones, but this one here, my Vortex, is a speed dial scope. Okay, this one here, this Vortex here, is a non-speed dial scope. Okay, this one here I can adjust the magnification. Once I set the speed dial on this one, I cannot adjust the magnification because that will screw up the scope. Okay. So it's just the type of scope that you want to use. Arrows. What kind of arrows do you want to shoot? But the thing you got to make sure with your crossbow, okay, is the type of arrows that you're going to use. It's either 16, 18, or 20. Most of the time, 16 you shoot 20 and all that. That should be pretty good either way. So do you want a heavy arrow or do you want a light arrow? But here's the key. Light arrows are kind of noisy. Your crossbow strings and won't last as long. Where heavier arrows, you're going to be quieter. You're going to be your strings are going to last a lot longer. So that's an advantage to a heavier arrow. So you got to experiment around with that kind of stuff. Okay. So there's a lot of arrows out there, but to keep in mind, okay, these are Chinese knockoffs. You don't want them. Stay away from the Chinese knockoffs. Okay. The power drivers are fine. Let's see if I can find another one on here that's pretty good. But yeah, stay away from the cheap stuff. Okay. They're not going to be straight because you want them straight, and you want your straightness to be 0.001 to give you the better shot. 3.003 is okay, but stay away from stay away from these Chinese knockoffs. Let's see here. I think this. Okay, here's some Ravens, 0.003. I don't think that's the price. Come on, that is really ridiculous for that. Let's see here. $2,000. Oh, that must be including the Raven R10. RX 26. That makes a little more sense. Okay. Let's just see here. There's tons and tons of arrows, but again, you want to stay away from the Chinese knockoffs. They're they're not going to be straight. The weight is definitely not going to be there. Like I said, yes, arrows are expensive. Those are the ones you want. Okay, so let me go back over here. And I will bring up, let's see, what's a good one? I'll just use, it would help if I would spell better. Oh, man. Okay, so let's hop back over here. So you got the 10 point. I just put 10 point in there just for the fun. Excuse me. So you got those, the Evo X, great arrows. You got discharge arrows, just the different arrows here, you notice that they're a little more expensive, but they're well worth the money. Okay, well worth the money, because that's what you want. You have to go to your manufacturer's one. No, I mean there's let me bring up another one here. It's the uh, let's see here. Okay, here's another one. You can go to is Gold Tip. They have all sorts of arrows, but again, make sure that you get the right arrow here, because they do youth arrows, arrow components. It's just to do crossbow. So they have 3, 6, 7 types of arrows. Most of them are .001, 003. Okay. So again, be careful of the arrows that you get. Now broadheads, I'm just going to briefly touch on broadheads. Again, broadheads, there is a huge variety of broadheads. Okay. Again, stay away from the cheap knockoffs. Okay. You got these Mossies, great ones. G5s, Swackers, the Rage, all good broadheads. Thorn broadheads, fantastic broadheads. That's the ones I use. Not one like that, but I do use the Thorn broadheads. Like this here, stay away from them. But again, what type of broadhead is going to be good for you? My suggestion would be, even though they're expensive, is to buy 2 or 3 different brands and try it. Okay. Again, it's going to be preference on that. Okay. So again, I just bought a used crossbow. Okay. Again, you gotta be, again, you gotta watch what you get. But when you're putting on stuff on it, the best way to do a lot of stuff is do a lot of research before you do anything with a crossbow. If you're buying a used crossbow, most manufacturers will still have parts for them, or they have a site that you can go to get parts. They go to. They'll help you out. Most crossbow companies that I've dealt with, 10-point, fantastic. I give them a call, they pick up the phone, answer. A Centerpoint, I've called them. I know some people complain about them, but I've called them. They picked up the phone, took care of me. Same thing with Killer Instinct, took care of me. Anyone I've called, they're pretty good. Sometimes you have a bad day and they don't answer or whatever, have issues. It happens. Sorry to say that, but it happens. But I hope you guys got something out of this. If you leave me a comment, if you got any more suggestions on that I might bring up when you're buying a used crossbow, please leave them in the comment. Glad to have them. So until next time, family first. Take care of your family. By all means, get out there and hunt. And see you on the next episode of Utah Crossbow Hunter. And remember, these episodes are dedicated to my son. And thank you for watching. Have a great day.